following podcast is intended for an adult audience only.
It contains strong language, strong opinions, and themes of a sexual nature.
So if you are under 18, or indeed difficult to please, this isn't the podcast for you.
Welcome to episode 3 of Varying Degrees, a BDSM podcast with myself, CH, and my friend Burns. Hello, Burns.
Hello.
And back once again is ShockHead Red.
Hello.
Alright. So, what have you mostly been up to since we last met?
Since the last recording?
Yeah, since the last recording.
Us two have been learning loads of rope stuff. Well, mostly him learning rope stuff. I've just been stood there taking it, but it's it's interesting to skill to develop.
It's an interesting. It's very intricate, and I like the fact that when you're not here as well, we've got a dressmaker's mannequin.
Yes, I do have a mannequin. So either that, or if I'm asleep, he can just use that.
I got a photo of that. I looked over my phone. You sent me a photo of a dressmaker's mannequin. That's great.
Yeah. So it's good because it's good to just try things on because it doesn't squirm.
Yeah. How have you been honing your skills, man? Have you been freestyling it, or have you been watching YouTube videos, or going to?
I have. I don't know if I can name drop so much, but I've been on a website called The Dutchie.
Okay.
And I signed up to his Patreon, and so I can. He's an American bloke. I'll get the details later, but
How
he's
much
an
is
American.
it costing you?
I think it's something like $5 a month or something, and he's bringing out constant different new ties. But the tutorials are really fucking good, like really good. It's like he uses his partner, whoever it is, the model.
Yeah. And
they're in like a full white Zentai suit,
Okay.
and he's like a full morph suit. And he's using like blue gloves with very, very good quality rope. So when he's doing it, showing you where the tie's on, how to put your hand and how to move it round, it's really easy to see exactly where you're going. You know, some different ones they'll show you, and it's a bit sort of like, oh yeah, then do a knot round this and then that, and you go, well, hang on, but this guy, it's step by step. It's literally you pull through here and then another picture of how to do it and videos as well. And it's pretty damn good actually.
You've been learning Jedi rope tricks.
Yes, Jedi rope tricks.
You have to teach me. What else you guys been doing?
I went to a beginner's rope course with a partner. It was one day, and we're looking at getting into a bit more stuff, because they do like a crash course, some other courses and follow-up stuff with some self-tying and stuff like that. So there's different avenues you can take it down.
The class is like that expensive? I mean, compared to like
so
£5 a month on Patreon.
I think like your crash course, I think is about £45
Not too
person. One of the other courses was, I think, about 80 quid a person, but that was over 2 days.
That's not bad for 2 days.
But that was like the beginner course that will let you do some of the other ones. I think the self-tying ones are 30 quid each. There's like a beginner, slightly more advanced,
You thought quite highly of the venue and the people, and
Aye, it seemed very nice.
We won't name drop. They've got a good reputation. I follow them on Instagram. So they're really top notch.
Oh, speaking of Instagram, we've got an Instagram now, haven't we?
Yeah.
What?
You guys.
Varying Degrees.
Varying Degrees.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we have.
Yes,
we have.
You made it, I thought.
Yeah, I did. We've got. You can follow us.
If you've just joined, Cool Hands has just woken up.
I've just joined. I seem to have just arrived. Hand the tissue.
Are you okay?
Fucking hell.
We are Varying Degrees on Instagram. That's us. That's who you can find us on.
At Varying Degrees.
At Varying Degrees podcast.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah.
I suppose we could. Well,
I managed to get us that one. That wasn't taken. There's no other Varying Degrees podcast out there on Instagram going by that name.
That's handy.
Because they know it abbreviates down to VD. I did like that about getting the t-shirts printed. But no, I
please
think,
don't.
Yeah, we could put stuff like, we could do, I don't know, if we do your rope tying and stuff like that, we can put things of that up on. I mean, obviously it can remain anonymous, but...
I just thought I'd use it to post the episodes and links to the episodes, and another way for our followers to... Another way to make
Follower.
But I mean, other than your foray into rope, what have you three been up to? I mean, we've been to a few things together, haven't we, since I've seen all your beautiful naked bodies.
You haven't seen mine, have you?
Yeah, I have.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, I did. You got in.
How's the therapy getting on then?
Weren't you in the pool?
I jumped in the pool naked.
Yeah, we all went on I was lucky enough to go on a road trip with you guys down to an event.
Naturist spa.
Yeah, a BDSM event at a naturist spa, which was my first experience of an event like that.
Wasn't as busy as last year.
So you've been to that? You've been to that
before, yeah.
Yeah, Burns and I went last year.
Yeah,
so
and you said it was a bit more of a jolly, lively atmosphere.
It was a little bit more lively last year, yeah.
Yeah.
I still enjoyed it.
Again,
I haven't been before.
Again, we don't have to name drop the event. That's the first time I've been to a venue like that, like in the daytime, with people dressed as horses and nudity
and all sorts of floggings,
masturbation,
and stuff,
mass masturbation.
The satellite wankers.
Creepy wanky men.
Yeah.
What will we do with them?
It was the fact you're in the field
What
and you
will
kind of
you do with them?
Yeah. It's the fact you're in the
Nothing,
field and you want to have
nothing,
some fun.
hopefully.
We shouldn't shame them.
No.
That's their thing.
But maybe put your cigarette out.
Yeah, I mean, some people like hot ash on the old todger.
Often or sometimes at events you can get, if a couple or more are having sex, you can get a large group of men stood around masturbating.
To be fair, it wasn't even just if they were having sex. If someone sneezed loudly,
there
was a couple of them sort of ran up and went, "Oh, hey."
Yeah. But I mean, if you have, it's kind of one of those things, isn't it? I think that if you're doing it publicly at an event like that, you're okay with people watching, but the people watching should maintain a little bit of respect and boundary.
Yeah,
it's just like any scene, though. It's like any scene. If you're in the dungeon, you don't get too close.
No, unless you're welcomed over, or whoever is
or
partaking
invited,
in the scene primarily invites you over or actively encourages it. Which was nice to see that the people working at the venue were kind of watching out for things like that and were like, guys, come on, you're standing 3 feet away from them. They haven't welcomed you. It's
the
like
staff,
right.
I thought the staff there were brilliant from what I saw. Actually, there was always somebody walking around checking on people.
Well, I know the guy who runs it doesn't take any crap. He's very
I think you can't
no means no, which is great.
Yeah, no, I was really impressed by that, and
It was also a good laugh. It wasn't just like, right, here's the rules. You get in line. You do this. It was having a laugh with it as well.
Yeah.
And I like the little market that was there as well.
Yeah,
that was
nice. That was good. I bought a few things. I bought a medical mouth gag, like a mouth.
Oh yeah, the ones that opens your mouth for the dentist coming in.
Click, 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 click. Yeah.
Snap.
Or I bought a new very heavy cane because I like my canes heavy, and what else? And a mini spreader bar.
Oh yeah, I remember.
And she bought a is it speculum they're called?
Speculum, yes, a medical speculum.
Yeah.
Oh, is that
for those who do not know, these are used during a smear test.
Yep, I know exactly what you mean.
Or on a nice evening in together. But either way, yeah.
Yeah, so I bought this one here, some flowers the other day, and she said to me, bet now I have to open my legs. I said, we have got a vase.
Oh, for goodness sake. We got a wee knife, like, for scraping wax.
What, metal?
Oh, that little metal one. That was amazing. What was it, like £2 or something?
I think it was like $3.50. But, good quality. Came with a tiny wee case.
Sheath. Yeah, like a little sheath through it, yeah.
You doing much wax?
We were done a bit more wax,
I haven't done it in ages.
My partner got some of the, the wee jugs.
Oh yeah.
They're great.
Oh, they're like the melted jugs, yeah.
Melted down a few of our candles and added a wee bit of coconut oil to them to lower the temperature that they burn at, and it's quite good.
I've never used those. I
know the jugs are quite good because then rather than just like points for the candle, you can let a wee bit melt. Let it cool down a wee bit,
a line.
and then just do a bit of work, and it's just a bit easier to use.
I think that's a fantastic idea.
They are good.
I'd like to do it with chocolate.
Lick it off.
I'd be up for that.
Last time I made brownies and I was putting a little sprinkling, I was like, yeah, you like that.
I'm not licking it off a chocolate though.
No? Are you sure?
Just got to be careful about the melting temperature, that's all.
The melting temperature of chocolate or the melting temperature of ShockHead?
Well, bit of both.
Jet fuel, mate, jet fuel. That's me. And steel beams.
I was just about to say, hide the steel beams. Put it back in your trousers.
Well, I went full Sid James laugh there.
You did, right?
Carry on.
I know something else you might have been getting up to since we last saw you two.
You've been on the internet again.
I've been looking at you. I lent you the prototype stocks.
We have not used it yet.
You've not used that?
No, we've not got round to it.
No?
And no, you're not making me wear it.
No, I'm not.
Because I did try to put it on and I nearly garroted myself.
Did you really?
I have an 18-inch neck.
Oh, really?
And it's not built for people with a neck my size.
We tried.
Yeah.
There's a lot of pinching going on, but it didn't
Right,
work.
so when ShockHead tells you he's got 18 inches, you now know what he's talking about.
The circumference of his neck.
The circumference of my neck, yes.
If you had an 18-inch cock, he'd pass out every time he had an erection. That's not possible.
I must say, if it does come to it, I did buy a metal cock ringy style thing, and I thought, I'm not a very, very well endowed person, so to speak, so I'll just go for the smallest size and try that out. Far too fucking small.
Oh.
What a confidence boost! I was like, yes!
Absolutely agony to wear, but I mean, what a confidence.
Oh, great, yeah, it was like, click. You know, it was just like, but yeah, what a confidence boost. I was like, yeah, that's fantastic.
What have you been up to?
Well, I've not been as active as I could be because I've been breaking my foot, but
Oh, yeah.
beyond
I knew.
that, I've been making more things, so I've lent you those stocks.
You made some new ones, didn't you?
Yeah, I've made some new lighter weight stocks which are comfortable to wear. You've seen them in action.
Yeah, they look much better.
They were much lighter, yeah.
Didn't you bring them round?
You
Oh
brought
yeah, I
them
did
round.
Yeah.
bring them round.
Yeah, you brought them round.
And
I did bring them round. Yeah.
Yeah.
that's
They were
correct.
still work in progress at the
Yeah,
time. But
yeah, they're completely finished now, black and done.
Yeah, it's all
And
pictures,
there is
yeah.
now a set of ankle and wrist stocks. So
Yeah, they look cool.
So it's a little block with 4 holes in, and your wrists and your ankles go in there, and you're essentially almost like not hog tied, but like
hog tie but forwards.
yeah, you know,
You're sort of almost frog tied, yeah.
frog tied,
Almost,
not
yeah.
hog tied, but frog tied. And
You could do it behind the back.
Log
It would
tie.
work.
You might break somebody's arms, so that's not really.
Ah, they've got two.
You might break both of them.
They'll heal.
I don't think it's
You'd
good
be
kink.
like one of those chew people at a car dealership.
I don't think it's good kink.
No? Okay.
No.
You never know.
There's someone out there that
Rule
will
number
like it.
34.
Rule 34.
What is this Rule 34 you keep speaking of?
Rule 34 is if it exists, there is pornography or a kink for it.
Okay, so.
Which, when you know that, makes watching Schindler's List very difficult.
Yeah,
So
but
hang on a minute.
some
Mrs.
people-
Doubtfire.
Yep,
Yeah.
there will be that. Well, I mean, there's if you think of Mrs. Doubtfire, look at the key themes. A man dressing up as an elderly woman, that's quite common. Pretending to his family that he's someone else, very, very common. And if you think about it, he's quite voyeuristic on his ex-wife and her new boyfriend. Very, very common kink. You know, there's a lot of very
So
obvious
it
kinks.
don't need to. Rule 34 doesn't need to exist for Mrs. Doubtfire because it is already.
It kind of is. It's
kind of a
already a
known
multiplication. But there is probably a kink out there for people who want to dress up as Mrs. Doubtfire and go, hello, at
Oh,
people.
hey, hello, puppets.
Yes, that's blatantly a
Well,
kink.
it's like there's a guy that was arrested for masturbating in a silo tank or something like that at a cow
Sort
farm.
of silo. Oh, like a what?
Like a manure
Slurry.
tank. So he's in shit.
Happy
Masturbating.
as a pig in shit.
Literally.
It's
And he got
horrible.
arrested because it was masturbating in it. But that's the thing. There's anything.
No, Burns said it was the best night of his life.
Don't think it was
It's,
good.
it's just when the cops turn up and say, "Could you come quietly?"
Nicely done.
Oh,
Yes.
pride.
Yeah, that was my first ever pride.
Likewise.
Whose pride? What pride?
I was in attendance.
Was that your first ever
I think
pride?
it was my first one where I'd gone down to the actual like parade and everything, and I thought it was I thought it was quite a dignified one of all things.
Dignified pride.
Especially in such a grey, dull town, I thought, oh, it's nice to see them actually be a bit colourful, be a bit supportive.
Since we're talking about pride briefly, does anybody mind disclosing their sexual orientation?
In a relationship with Cornish pasties,
Right.
pastry goodness.
I was disappointed at Pride. Not a single fucking lion.
That took you a second.
Not funny.
As somebody who is mostly straight, I
What
mean,
do you mean mostly? What is it like? Only on one day of the month or something?
I'm only straight one day of the month for the rest of
The rest of you fabulous.
When he sees a full moon,
It's a full moon today.
He wants to shove his cock in it.
someone got the joke. Thank you.
Oh
Thank fuck for
God!
that.
Yeah, I'm mostly straight.
You've listened to the Smiths.
I have listened to the Smiths.
No, listen to the Smiths.
You could be the hardest looking person in the world.
Listening to the Smiths doesn't make you gay. It just makes you suicidal.
And yeah, you could be.
And if you find yourself identifying with it, going, you know, I like Morrissey.
I love Morrissey.
Then you've just become a prick.
Cheers, mate.
I'd rather.
Sorry, but just Morrissey's a prick.
I'd rather suck Trump's stinky toes
Oh.
whilst he spanks my arse with a fucking bamboo cane and going, yeah, guess who's the bitch now? Yeah, I'm gonna build a wall up your ass. Than listen to Morrissey.
Right.
That's literally the extreme of. He's a cunt.
But I mean, so I don't know if I can really judge as a mostly straight guy. I don't know if I can really judge Pride. But I don't mean judge it as in I am against Pride events, because clearly I'm not, because I was there supporting it. I meant the organisation of that specific event, how it was laid out, how it was run.
Well,
that's what I'm talking about.
There was a couple of things where
I'm
it was a
about
bit like
from running an event aspect, not from.
Yeah, I mean, it could have been a bit better in my opinion. It could have been a bit bigger and a bit more. I mean, they had like a ticketed event thing where you could get into, and it shouldn't be about that. It's not about ticket numbers. It's not about making money.
Tickets were free.
Tickets were free, but they only had a limited number
Because it was such a small area.
There was nothing on the website, nothing on the any publication whatsoever, posters or anything, about who was the primary sponsor for it.
That ruffled a lot of feathers.
Which ruffled a hell of a lot of feathers, especially when they said this is a Pride event, no political or no political statements.
Yeah.
Number one, that's what Pride is.
Yeah.
It is not just a sexual statement; it's a political statement at the same time. Homosexuals.
Well, it started as a riot.
Yeah, it started as a riot.
Stonewall riots.
Homosexuals were persecuted in this country and subjected to horrific things. So it was political. It's a political thing, and so to say no political statements, and then the main sponsor who was running the event is one of the largest companies that sells arms to the third world.
Countries that
oppress homosexuals, and not even just homosexuals, heterosexuals who do things like adultery and things like that, or even just sort of partake in kink acts.
Sponsored by a company that provides arms and ordnance to countries that have less than a positive take on freedom of sexuality.
Exactly. Not just whether it be homosexual, bisexual, heterosexual, whatever. They just have an oppression, even just on, for example, being a woman.
Yeah.
Which is
weird choice of sponsor. Maybe they'll try and do some sort of.
I think they got a lot of backlash from it.
Yeah,
a lot of backlash.
Maybe that company is trying to do some sort of moral carbon offsetting.
I think carbon offsetting, but at the same time they shoot machine guns into the air. So but no, going back to Pride, it was nice to be there. It was nice to be part of it.
Yeah.
It was nice to see so many people out celebrating, and I think it's a great thing. I think it should carry on. I mean, I do have my certain things about Pride, how I believe it should still be about celebrating diversity and celebrating the hardships and the struggles that people have gone through, whether they be any race, gender, sexual orientation, anything, religion. It should be about bringing people together in love and happiness and having fun. I don't think it should just be about let's just glitter up my unicorn and go wave it in people's faces and stuff. I think that's having a party, which is great, but I think we should remember where it comes from.
Yeah, I mean, my reasons for being there were, because I truly believe in equality and inclusion.
Yeah.
And
which is what it should be about.
And it wasn't, regardless of gender, sexuality.
Well, like when we were there was somebody I don't know their name. I never spoke to them or anything, but they were wearing a T-shirt that was in the Pride colours.
Yeah.
And in those Pride colours on the T-shirt, it said "Straight on Proud."
Yeah.
And on the back it said "Happy to support Proud 2019." And some people were getting a little bit, mouthy about that. And I thought, well, because they go, they shouldn't really say that, saying that's against us because we're gay and proud, or we're bisexual and proud, or we're. And I thought, what? There's nothing wrong. They're supporting your gay pride, or as it used to be, gay pride. They're supporting the LGBTQ plus pride in standing with you, in celebrating together, in singing along and waving the flags and everything. But just because they're heterosexual they're proud to be who they are, just as much as you're proud to be who you are.
The problem is there's a bit more to it than that, and it has ties to something in the US where they did a straight pride, but it wasn't just
Oh, I remember
Like-
that.
like-
yeah.
we're happy to be like, we're just joining in and it's all a friendly thing. It was done more as a straight pride, as an anti-gay thing.
It was
And it's like, oh,
yeah.
where's our celebration? Where's our celebration? It's like, you don't need one. No one batters you in the street.
Yeah,
If
nobody,
you be like, oh, you're
nobody
straight.
gets straight battered.
Aye.
Yeah.
So it's like, you don't need it. Why do you want it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I remember that. Wasn't it one of those like Westboro Baptist Church or one of those lot that were like the sort of people that have those signs that say God hates fags and stuff like that?
It was a US movement called Proud Boys, I believe.
Proud Boys.
From the US Marines.
The irony.
Proud Boys sounds as camp as camp can
The
be.
irony.
Navy.
I couldn't believe it, you know.
The Proud Boys. The Proud Boys sound like they should be put at Blackpool Central Pier 3 nights a week, you know. Take your nan to see the Proud Boys, you know. They'll stand proud for your nan.
I mean, I'm glad I went to that Pride event, and it was the first one held at that location. So
Well, it was a
I-
good one to
Yeah,
go
yeah.
to,
I mean, I
yeah.
cut him some slack.
I
'cause
still
it was the first
enjoyed it,
time
yeah.
putting it
And there
on.
was, from what I saw, there was like no trouble. Because I always think with
Yeah.
events like that, you're expecting to get a lot of very right-wing, a lot of very anti...
Well, there's barely any
Um,
chance for anybody to have a drink. That's why.
It's not just about that. I've seen things on the news where there's been pride events and any form of... It's just these sort of people that hate everything except them.
Yeah.
And there was none of
I'm
that,
sure
which
they
was
don't hate
nice.
themselves, to be fair.
It was nice also to see things like the police joining in. They
Mm.
had all their
I
cars
liked the car,
and everything.
yeah, that
Yeah,
was
the
cool.
car was cool. I mean, that thing, it did look like if it hit 88 miles an hour, it was going to go like straight into plaid. It was just going to like shoot off.
But
Like ludicrously.
I'm definitely been inspired to go to further Pride events and other Pride events.
Oh yeah,
and,
definitely.
and you know, be supportive.
I like the
and
fact they're all
show-
not on the same weekend.
Mm.
I love that. I like the fact that
You
it's
can go
not
to all
like
of them.
it's not like the second weekend in June all across the country is Pride. It's like there's one every for 2 months. There's like one every weekend.
You get a
It's
loyalty
great.
card.
You get 'em.
Loyalty card.
Oh, dear God, don't you
I
involve
thought of a good way that we could really confuse listeners is we could change the name and call ourselves the Antiques Roadshow.
Do you know what antiquing is?
Yeah.
Yes.
Songs of praise.
Songs. That's a god awful show. What Songs of Praise needs to do is it needs to start going to kink events. That would be
I don't know
fantastic.
if it does. So for this next part, I've had a strange idea of getting a hat. In this case, Red's bowler hat.
My hat. There's my hat.
Oh, ShockHead's bowler hat.
Yeah.
This fits on your head.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, it depends which head.
Okay. Oh, okay. And what I've done is I've written down some different abbreviations and definitions of titles, etc. And I've thrown them into the hat, and I thought we could all pull one or two out each, go around the table, and we could define what it means to us personally, or what we think the common definition of it is within BDSM,
Yeah.
and then we could discuss it and maybe expand each other's minds or our own minds and broaden our horizons a bit in the process.
Go for it.
Yeah? So, Red, you go first. Pick something out of the hat.
A goose.
What you got, Red?
Daddy Dom.
Daddy Dom.
It's when your dad's into BDSM.
No, go on. What's your understanding of that title?
My understanding isn't particularly detailed. I mean, don't get me wrong, I have been exploring it recently, but it's not something I know enough about to define it specifically. But I'll be honest, I'm a bit stuck. Shockhead, could you help me out? No, apparently.
No.
I tell you what, I'm going to go to Cool Hands because how would you describe it?
I mean, I am a daddy dom to my partner. So you picked out a really challenging one for your first one.
Yes, I did. I'm sorry.
Well, but there you go. It's an opportunity for us to discuss something that you don't know that much about.
I'm exploring it, but I don't know how to define it.
So what have you been? How have you been exploring it?
I like being called it.
You know what he called it?
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
That's pretty much what it is.
And for some couples who explore that, it is only they like that in the bedroom.
Yeah, it's that sort of thing. We're not. I wouldn't say we're a daddy dom relationship, so to speak.
It's more sort of a cheeky nickname, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it's more of a cheeky nickname as opposed to.
Yeah.
It's something that gets you a bit more going as opposed to just being. Oh yes,
yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh,
and
I can't stand
it's
that.
because some people, it's the kind of maybe potentially the taboo connotations.
Yeah,
associated
there's a
with it.
slight taboo, I suppose. People could say it's maybe a slight incestuous taboo idea, but I think when you know that you're not in that, and that's not what it's stemming from. I think it's just a bit of a light kink.
Yeah. I mean, for many, it's not got any connotations of paternal.
But it also it also sort of slightly stems in one part from the old sugar daddy idea, doesn't it?
I'm gonna be quite vocal on that one then.
No, that's fine, but that's where I think that's more where the just the nicknamey idea comes from. I think it's more that.
Was that? And I think it's always been a thing. 'Cause there's always that joke, isn't it, of saying "Who's your daddy" during sex, isn't it? So it's.
Yeah.
I think it's always been a thing.
But then again, there's always that thing of in prison of saying "Who's your daddy." It has a very different term and a very different meaning. A daddy in a prison yard is very different to a father. A father is very different to a daddy dom.
Well,
These things aren't.
Aye, if you're having sex and someone says, "Who's your father?" You're either having sex with a cockney or a priest,
or Darth Vader.
It's when they press the vibrator and just.
It lights up.
It's when he's running the mains powered vibrator from his chest plate, like Crichton.
There are daddies. I mean, for me, sugar daddy is a whole different, for a lot of people, a whole different avenue.
I think that's where the two parts lie. I think daddy dom and just being called daddy in the bedroom because it's a bit of a sort of hoo-hoo, isn't that a cool little nickname? I think the cool little nickname, oh, isn't it cool, it gets someone going a bit, comes more from the sugar daddy area where it's all like, oh yeah, if I just be all calling him, oh yeah, daddy, fuck me daddy, blah blah blah. Then he goes, no, this is cool, I like this, I'm going to buy you some nice stuff. Whereas opposed to the daddy doming thing, I think is a totally fucking different
And
thing.
actually, they're completely defined by the meaning of the two people in that situation.
Exactly, yeah.
So there's varying degrees.
I think daddy doming is more of a protective thing as well. I see it more as a... Whereas sugar daddying idea is more of a, I buy you cool shit that you want, you touch my winky.
Yeah, trophy
But
partners.
And stuff like that, yeah, trophy partners.
Which ones tell the bad jokes?
I do. Daddy doms.
Right.
Yeah, I tell awful
I've
jokes.
heard your jokes, they're shit.
Yeah, she gets it all the time. But not all daddies are dominant. You get submissive daddies, but yeah, Daddy Dom was on the card that I wrote down, and
you get mummy doms. So
you get daddies that are female. You get female people that identify as a daddy in their relationship,
which is
that's absolutely fine by then. Burns, we'll do a whole big thing about daddy doms another time.
Well, I think that would be a good topic.
Yeah, and maybe I'll get Belle round and we'll talk about it. And we'll go
it'd be nice to get guest people on to speak about it.
And we can talk about our dynamic and share that. Burns, take something out of the hat, man.
I've got CMNF, which is clothed male, naked female, and that's when two teenagers meet up. And they've not quite worked out how you do sex properly, and it's all a bit awkward,
Don't do Snapchat in it.
No, I think again it's like a dominance thing, and you get it a lot at particular parties.
I've never been to these, so I'm so naive.
Well, no. But I'm just saying. I'm not saying I've been to them, but you hear about them and you see about them on, say, FetLife or whatever, and it commonly a theme at certain play parties.
Yeah, where all of one gender is.
Be it all of one particular.
It's a bit like the
group, all of one particular group, be it all the guys or all the girls or all of any particular group. All the subs, all the doms.
It's a bit like the old Tarts and Vickers idea that the men would all be dressed in full dress and the girls would all be scantily clad.
Right. What the fuck? If you had like half the doms. If you had like all the doms wearing clothes and all the subs or the bottoms naked, what would the switch do? Would they have to like half and half?
I think
like
shorts and a tank top. Shorts and a tank top. There you go. You've got your arms and legs on show. You keep your torso covered. But no, the old clothed male, naked female, and obviously its counterpart being the other way. I find, from my experience, that the clothed male, naked female, I think is less prevalent. I think there's more clothed female, naked male.
Yeah.
I think in the kink world nowadays, whenever I've been to any form of kink event, or whenever I've been to clubs and stuff like that do adult events, I do notice there are a lot more naked men, subservient naked men, than naked subservient females.
Would you say that's kind of like the prevalence within the fetish scene of a lot of femdom stuff?
I think
so.
yeah.
Like it's like clubs like, I think, Pedestal
Yeah.
is particularly
Very much
aligned to that
way.
femdom.
The name itself.
Yeah, a pedestal, you know. I know there is one in London that's very much the clothed male, naked female, where they put on parties where men can register, and literally you can walk in and just unzip your trousers and have like 4 or 5 mouths round you, so to speak. But they're very much it's a first come first served. You have to get vetted. You have to do this. You have to do that. You have to do that. But that's a bunch of women who run those parties themselves for that, because that's their kink and that's their thing. So it's kind of that's their thing. It's like the working man deserves a release, and
if
they still won't let me in. No.
and if it's being man by women for women,
Yeah.
although they're the naked ones being subservient,
Yeah, but the
on
thing
the
is,
outside, they're the ones orchestrating it.
they're the ones orchestrating it, which is kind of, it's lovely, because that's the thing. Just because you're clothed doesn't mean you're in charge.
No.
Clothed male, naked female, the female could be completely in charge. Actually, and I will just rescind that, the female doesn't have to be a woman.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Anybody who registers themselves as female, they could still be completely in charge of that situation. I mean, who knows what clothing they're wearing? Yeah, you see? Could be a Ronald McDonald suit.
Should I say something from the hat, ShockHead?
Yes, let's. What we can do? Gonna have.
It's like Christmas, isn't it? No, it's a shit Christmas.
Oh, I was gonna say these were the Christmases I had growing up.
Things you could say about your dom, but not your girlfriend.
Well, that's another one. We'll pick those out of a hat another time.
That's
next
a good one,
time.
yeah. Heteroflexible.
What's your understanding of heteroflexible, mate?
That you're. I consider myself sort of heteroflexible.
Okay.
I do that same for me.
Yeah, I'm not bisexual, and I'm not. I would say I'm not really bi-curious. Because I'm not curious about it. I know what it all involves.
But
Therefore,
at the moment you might suck a dick.
Yeah, probably.
I think the way I put it is because I feel quite strongly that that's how I would define myself, is that I would happily play with men and women or whatever till the cows come home. That's fine. I just wouldn't settle down with a woman.
Yeah, I see that. I'm very heterosexual in my life partners, my long term, but and also I find heteroflexible. I think it also stems to the perception of sexuality as well. How just because you're camp, I'm using inverted commas there, camp, or very sort of fabulous, things, doesn't mean you have to be stereotypically gay.
Yeah.
I mean, I always consider myself very camp and over the top and can be very ridiculous and love bursting out into musicals and stuff, which most people would think is a gay trait, inverted commas. But I'm not. I think it's just a sort of way that I'm flexible with the fact that I don't define myself by being big and manly,
Thoughts on heteroflexibility?
I think it's great fun.
And you'd define it roughly the same way?
No, but see, yeah, I kind of agree with that. And at the moment, I'm in a committed heterosexual relationship, which I'm more than happy with. So I'd always kind of identified as bisexual, and I'd had experiences in the past and this and that and the other. But I remember seeing the joke where it's like, oh, you're bisexual. Oh, but you're with a woman and you're a man. It's like, aye, I eat steak, but I'll have a salad every now and again.
As a Scotsman.
all right.
Fried salad, darling.
Aye.
Eat fried salad.
Glasgow salad, chips.
The mixed meat salad.
Aye. But joking
That is
aside,
heteroflexible with mixed meat
The
salad.
mixed meat salad.
Yeah. I like that.
joking aside, I mean the thing is as well, like,
It's got a wee egg in it.
just because, like, you find someone attractive doesn't mean you have to do anything about it.
Oh
So,
yeah.
you know, you could consider yourself bisexual. You know, you could maybe look at someone and go, aye, I would happily fuck them, but never go ahead with that.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean you have to. Do you know what I mean? So it's not like that they're going to come round and go, right, we're the bisexual police. You've not sucked a dick in the last 10 years. We're revoking it. Right, you're heterosexual now.
Yeah, because by that definition, if you didn't sleep with a woman in 5-10 years, you can't call yourself straight anymher.
Yeah, exactly.
Aye.
By
It's
the
like,
same
It's
logic.
like, it doesn't fucking wear out, you know.
I know, I have to get a flashlight sometimes.
Yeah.
Isn't that the problem? Like, labels are very handy, but like
They're not, they dig into your spine.
but right, when you first meet someone, right, and the conversations go in that kind of way, bisexual, pansexual, whatever it is, and people find that quite hard to understand, but
What I will add to the listeners is that most people don't, except Burns, who brings an overhead projector.
Mistress. Now this is a good one. This has got two different meanings depending on.
Yeah, because if we look at the old term of mistress, the old term of mistress was the other woman,
Yeah.
so to speak. It was the woman out of the wedlock.
Yeah.
And this actually...
Which actually, if you go before that, would be the mistress of the house.
Yes. Now, actually, the old terms of mistresses go right back to the ancient Greeks. It was actually acceptable in ancient Greece for a married man to have sex with another woman.
Or another man.
I didn't actually say anything about men in what I read, but I assume anyone. They used to do it.
Soldiers were encouraged.
Yeah, but it was actually totally acceptable for a man in a household to go and have sex with any other person he wanted, as long as it wasn't in the household.
Meaning of mistress outside of BDSM.
Is to the other woman, the other woman,
Mrs. Trunchbull.
the secret woman.
Oh.
Not always a secret. And then, of course, the BDSM version being the lady in charge, or man,
Yeah.
can be.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you can have females who identify as DOMs spelt with a MME and just with a DOM.
Yeah.
Then why not have males who want to identify as a mistress?
I know
almost
a lot-
misheard you and thought you said MMA there. And I thought that's a very
Cage
different
fighting.
kind of S&M.
That's extreme.
That's a little more losing teethy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no,
I
I know-
Battering.
Certain events you do see a cage. But
I know biological male people who
Yeah.
identify as female
And
because
then-
they are transgender and or in the process of transgender and transitioning, who identify themselves as female DOMs,
Yeah.
DOMME, but because they are not fully transitioned yet and they're still in that process, they actually still take their male counterpart of themselves and they actually recognise themselves as subservient when they're so through their transitioning they're going sort of from one extreme, shall we say, to another, a varying degree.
Varying degree.
Yeah.
It comes round again. We keep
Comes round
slipping it in, don't we?
As the actress said to the bishop.
But yeah, so like I was saying, so in BDSM, it's not a secret affair. It's a power exchange relationship, and it's the person most often in charge is the mistress,
Yeah, dictionary spelt. Yeah, that was pretty good. Yeah.
and it's not adulterous in the slightest.
Well, it can be.
It can be.
That's the thing. Some people, they actively, that's their kink.
But their mistress could be their mistress.
Their mistress is their mistress, and that's the kink. I think it's one of those ones that it opens up to a million different.
Should we have one more quick round?
We'll have another
Come
quick
out
one.
with-
Come on, what we've got?
I've got pet play.
Ooh.
Oh, you pulled a funny face, Shockhead.
Ooh. That's just my face. isn't it?
No, as far as I understand, it's sort of the pretending to be an animal during a sexual encounter. Like, although I
Does it
did
have to be a
see.
sexual encounter?
No, it doesn't have to be.
But I did see something at said naturist spa that we went to. I don't know if we're mentioning or not. That
Pony play.
yeah, there was a person where she was on him, like
Riding him?
as though he was a
On a
horse.
saddle as well,
He
yeah.
had like these sort of stunted crutches with
Still arms.
with hooves, and had a proper saddle and I think a face mask with a horse on it. And the thing's not so much for a kink thing. I wanted to have a go because it looked like fun. I
like
want to do that.
Like when you ride a camel when you're on holiday. It's just, you know.
Yeah.
I saw it, and it's because it's the first time. I mean, I've been to dungeon events and that, and play months.
But because it was outdoor, yeah, it was.
It's the first time I've seen anything like that, and I did. out of curiosity, because it's something new to me, seeing for the first time, I sort of did do a double take and was watching with respect, not admiration, but with respect and curiosity from afar for a little while, you know, as they were, you know, because they were playing very publicly.
Yeah, it was quite interesting.
She was wandering around the market on him, and like, that's
riding,
glorious. I really want to
riding her pony.
Yeah, I want to have a go
I think
at
though
that.
with pet play kind of breaks down certain things. It can be linked with primal stuff, which I think is a different topic that I think we should incorporate in a different topic. But I see pet play very much as sort of, I mean, you can go furry in one direction. You can go furry, but I think furry, primal, and pet play are definitely all slightly separate. Even though they...
You got any experience in pet play, Burns?
I can neither confirm nor deny.
Okay.
Yes, he has.
Yeah, so
Which means yes.
Yes, but I'm not comfortable talking about it, so we won't.
I think he's got, and I don't think he's telling us, he's got a collar that's one of those magnetic ones that when he walks up to the door, it opens and lets him in. You know, like a little cat flap.
Oh, if only. No. I have got a collar.
If it doesn't work, he meows at the window.
I was in a relationship.
A cat! Talk pish.
I was
Do you think more of a dog?
A chihuahua.
Raccoon?
A bear. Oh, the bear. Sort of bear.
A
Panda.
A quokka?
A quokka. A red panda.
But
It's a bear.
the only problem with bears, right, is it's got that.
They occasionally rip people's faces off?
No, it's saying it's got the other connotation of what it means on the gay scene.
Yeah, obviously it
You're
does.
a bear. You'd be a bear.
The beer bear. I like
You
that.
know you'd be a bear, not a beer bear.
Oh yeah, no, I'd be a bear.
You would be a beer bear, though.
But I'd be a very, very polite one.
Maybe.
I know someone who is very, very, very happy to be very homosexual. Very, I would say almost, yeah, he is the sort of person, I won't name names, he probably wouldn't listen to this anyways, but he's very, very sexually frivolous and loves being gay. The sort of person that has someone around at 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5.
I think I know who you're talking about.
All separate people and will happily... And then actually posted a fantastic thing the other day saying all of them got in touch and said they all wanted to meet at 12 and he went, fuck it, it's a party now. And, you know, and has said that the amount of times people go, oh, you're a bear. It's like, no, I'm fucking not. I'm not a bear. There are people out there who are bears. And I'm like, yeah, I'd probably be a bear. I mean, a big cuddly one.
You'd be like a Care Bear, like a draw over.
A Care Bear.
I've been an owner, but not a pet. I mean, could you imagine me as a fucking pet?
I'll take you back to the fucking shop.
It's that neutered.
This parrot is
I'm
deceased.
gonna do the dead parrots again.
It's I must say with pet play, it is the continuous trips to the vets and them going seriously get help. You know.
But yeah, no, I mean
Found it in the Book of Revelation.
It's an incident. I can understand, Burns, why you wouldn't want to go there because I find it quite. I find things really easy to talk about. I just blurt shit out. Yeah,
I find it quite
hard to go there actually.
There's certain intimate things that you don't necessarily want to be like air to the world. You know,
I am a furry. I like One Direction.
I'm not a furry, for fuck's sake.
No,
He likes One Direction, apparently.
I'm not shaming furries or One Direction fans.
No disrespect to furries. They give cracking hugs, I must say. Right, but I'm just not one.
Yeah.
Right, and I've got nothing against them.
Looks expensive.
It is expensive.
Apparently, suits are very expensive.
Really expensive.
Yeah, so it's always that fun because you know when you're a kid and you see
And
mascots
incredibly
like-
hot as well.
Yeah.
You'd overheat and all that.
We were.
I know a fairy. I've known her before I was in the kink scene.
It's weird though, because I thought you'd find a bear in the forest, not in the jungle.
Actually, you should find them in leisure centres at conventions.
Yeah.
I normally find it at Comic-Con normally.
We were at a very famous theme park in the UK, which I won't name, but I will say it rhymes with Fulton Powers. And there was a person walking around with a proper furry mask, like head thing on, not like just like a silly one. They were wearing a full, like probably very expensive, and the arms and everything, and it was warm.
Yeah.
I thought you're gonna need a lot of roller coasters to calm that down. Go on, let's have another one.
Yeah, let's have another one. Get
one.
to the end. We'll do a couple more, and then we'll wrap it up. I'm dying to hear Burns' story this week.
I'm not going to do that one. I'm not going to do that one.
You're not going to do that? Well, you
no, because we touched on it. We touched on that as well.
What are you touching on?
Touching you in a minute. You've made these so small, I can't open it.
Well, I've got a rigger, so we can
I'll take that one.
show people the ropes
Hey!
Da, 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 da,
What's
da.
a rigger, Ben?
A rigger is someone who does the tying
Of a shoelace?
of ropes with the bondage and all that. We are a BDSM podcast. Do you know what I mean? Not going to talk about shoelaces. You dafty.
It could be a lighting rigger from a theatre.
Ah, you could be, but I mean, we're not saying that, are we, you mad rocket?
They're
man?
kinky bastards, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
I know a couple of them. But no. So, rope. The person who does the tying would commonly be referred to as a rigger, and at the end of it, the person who's being tied is commonly referred to as a rope bunny.
Never liked that term.
Rope bottom? To be fair, rope bottom.
No, I don't think you don't have to be a bunny or a bottom if you're the person being tied up. You could just
I
be...
don't know, I like bunnies.
Bunny, yeah, but bunny always reminds me think of bunny boiler, and it always has that very negative connotation.
No, bunnies are fluffy and cute. It's nice.
I don't mind it.
You didn't grow up where I grew up.
Mixomatosis.
Yours were deep fried, but you know, like
That's the word. I was trying to think of that word the other day and I couldn't.
Mixomatosis. You were trying to think of a word mixomatosis.
I was trying to think of the word mixomatosis and I couldn't.
Blimey.
sort of shit that goes through your mind.
Well, you
Did you
know
get
what
one?
goes through my mind.
I've got
I've
one.
told
What
you
have you
about
got?
my
What have you
I've got one of my
One last
favourite
time,
words.
And then I'll grab one.
Switch.
Switch.
I like switch.
You like to switch or you like the word switch?
I like. Disclaimer: we are in no way endorsing the Nintendo Switch. No, I for a long time I considered myself, and I probably still do consider myself a bit of a switch.
Yeah.
And the way I see it is that you switch from being top to bottom, bottom to top, dom to sub, sub to dom, whatever way you want it.
Being a switch, does it turn you on?
I'm gonna absolutely hurt you.
Is it
And that's
how.
how BDSM starts, ladies and gentlemen.
It does. God, it does.
Yeah, absolutely hurt you. Or say more.
Yeah, no. Choke me harder. Potential daddy, sugar daddy, dom. We found somebody. Yeah, no. Switch is one of those terms I really like. Switch,
Yeah.
and I think the problem is with switch, it's such a broad term, and the way I see it is the fact that you go from one to the other.
Yeah.
But some people are like, oh no, that doesn't mean that. It means this. And I'm like, that's great. You have it what it means to you. To me, it means
Like a dimmer switch.
yeah, I can dimmer switch.
With varying degrees of brightness.
Oh god.
Yeah, but
again.
Is
But
that
if-
like bingo for this?
If 100 degrees, if 100% you consider being total top or dom or whatever, and then 0 being sub or bottom or whatever, sometimes you can go to 50-50. And sometimes that's just nice, where it's just,
Yeah.
you don't have anybody that's in charge or anybody who's subservient, you just...
It doesn't have to be power exchange for it to be
Yeah.
good fun and enjoyable and a good connection.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things that's really overlooked in BDSM relationships. I know a lot of people that they go, I'm a dom.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, but you can't be a dom 24 hours a day, really. The way I see it, you can't do it 24 hours a day. What if you're married with someone and they go, I just fancy just a bit of chilled out. You can't go, no, I am a dom.
But the thing
Like
is,
this.
you are
you know.
24/7 because the dom, even if you're being chilled out, because the dom is making that decision, we're
But
just
if
going to
that's
chill out.
if
The
that's
dom
your
can then-
relationship,
The dom can then, at any point, can then go, we're just being chilled out tonight. Go, actually, we're not being chilled out now. I've decided we're doing something different.
yeah, but
You know,
that's what I mean is if that's the relationship.
Yeah.
So, for example, I couldn't keep that up. 24 hours a day, I couldn't keep that up at all. That's why I say I'm more of a switch. I can happily switch any way that is required. But some people I know go, oh, no, 24 hours a day, I am dominant or I'm subservient or I'm whatever. And I'm like, I can't possibly
I'm
do
her
that.
dom, but I let her make decisions in the relationship more so than I have done with some other submissive partners.
Yeah.
Because actually, I think that she makes the right choice most of the time, and therefore I'm quite happy for her to. Do you know what I mean?
And I must say, I know a lot of people that have been in 30, sometimes 40-year relationships with someone, and 24 hours a day, that's what it is. It is literally top-bottom, and that is because that's their thing. But for me, I find that incredibly hard to keep up because I just don't think I'm committed enough to something like that.
It's not something that you really have to keep.
I get
up
bored
with.
mid-piss sometimes, you know.
I think sometimes though when you see it and it's clearly working for people and they've found it,
It's
really quite beautiful to see with some people, and there's people we know who have got that, and it's so crystallised and it just works for them, and it's like, I mean, all right, you don't know you don't see everything that goes through. You know, they might have their own issues. I mean, Jesus, everyone does, but sorry, momentary distraction there. As
Cool Hands
Hans just whips his top off.
It's bloody hot in here.
You said close the windows.
Traffic.
Well, it's 'cause traffic, yeah.
Traffic. It's either my nipples or traffic. What would you prefer?
I am tending towards traffic right now.
Okay. The listeners can't hear my nipples. If we open the windows, I'll hear the traffic. Oh!
There you go.
Oh, manipulous.
See,
Listeners.
and that's the noise the nipple makes.
Bloody.
I've told you, Hans, take that bra off.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, sorry.
I wanted to prove that nipples make a noise. There you go.
Okay. We're trying to uncover
Don't you
my
fucking dare.
I'm going to uncover my nipples with my hands just long enough to take one last thing from my hat before we wrap this up.
I'm not going to do it again, you're fine.
Oh, am I though? Oh no, hold on a minute, we've already had that one.
That's what I mean.
Oh!
Ooh.
Oh, this is the one for all of us. This was the danger one. I've screwed myself over. This is the one that none of us are absolutely qualified to tackle.
Which is?
Leather Daddy.
I put that one back.
Put that one back.
What was the word?
Leather Daddy.
Leather daddy.
Leather.
Oh,
daddy.
leather. Sorry.
Leather Daddy.
It's very linked to the gay scene, is it not?
It is
Very,
indeed
very much.
linked to the gay
I'm
scene.
guessing heavily involves leather.
And it does, and it's one of the older BDSM communities that way predates.
And it's very much one of the early Pride ones.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
absolutely.
In fact,
Yeah.
I would say that the leather community paved the way for the rest of the kink community in many respects.
Very much so. Leather House and that lot.
Weirdly, one thing I do know about the leather community is, before you're a leather daddy, most people going into the leather community start off as subs. It's one community where training, although it is a kink, it is part of it's a very structured community.
I must say that one of the things I do know from leather daddying is
From leather daddying yourself?
no, not from myself. It's from the very great comedy act Topping and Butch, who have been doing the circuits for many, many years, and they met. They're a comedy duo, gay comedy duo, very, very
But
openly
not gay with each other.
Not a couple, but they are a comedy duo,
Yeah.
and they met at a leather club back.
Yeah.
I think it was in the 80s, early 90s, something like that. And back when it was still quite a taboo to be as openly flamboyant and open with your sexuality. And they said they met at a leather daddy style club. And they said the misconception everyone has about leather daddy and leather gay clubs is that there will be someone chained to a wall being flogged and whipped by a huge bear of a man. But the minute you walk up, they go, "You alright? You having a good night? Everything's lovely. Oh, it's a great place. I love this." Slap, slap, slap. It's such a welcoming community. And they said, and I've always wanted to actually go to one of the proper sort of gay leather clubs.
Aren't they quite close communities?
They're very close communities, but I'd love to go as an observer just to basically say, look, I am totally an observer for this. I'm not going to get involved. I just want to see how it all works.
I've been following a few threads online, and when I see leather daddies also comment in groups that I'm part of, I will look at their profile and I'll read their profile and look at the sort of club.
Get an insight,
yeah, because I'm curious, because it's human behaviour and it's a different kink, and it might not be, it isn't for me, and it's a different world.
But what's great is you're taking an interest.
In order to, I respect their kink, but in order to really respect something, I think you've got to understand it a little bit as well.
Yeah, you can't just see something.
Respect.
Yeah, see something once and go, "Oh, I totally respect that because I know everything about it." No, you don't.
I'm very keen. I'm very keen to learn. It's something I'm very keen to learn about, just out of curiosity and respect.
Yeah.
To have a deep understanding of somebody else's community.
And that's the big
how they do
thing.
things.
That's one of the big things about BDSM is ask questions.
Yeah.
As long as you're polite and you're not being a dick about anything. I mean, if you ask someone a question, say, "Hey, could you please tell me a bit more? I'm interested." Hey, you will probably get a reply from someone, as long as it's not just a sort of, "Hi, I've seen your profile and I'm really into sniffing pants." You're probably not going to get a reply off that. But if you see someone who's genuinely into something or is very... I mean, I know a female dom who's probably got a lot of years of experience, and we were in the same club one night, and we both happened to be at the bar, and we spent the next 20 minutes just chatting I was asking her all about all her experience and just learning and.
Well, I mean, just
know.
because somebody's experience can't possibly be yours, so in that case, a female dom.
Yeah,
completely
I'm
different
not going to have that sort of experience.
It doesn't
really,
mean saying
am
you
I?
can't learn something from her. Just like
No, I learned loads.
Yeah,
Loads.
I feel that, you know, having a further insight maybe into the leather community, and you know, it doesn't mean means.
I mean, you're going to get into it.
No, I'm not going to get into it, but in doing so, I might learn something about myself or learn something from the way they structure things.
Yeah, I think it works a lot very well.
You look like you're in deep contemplation, Burns. Yeah, imagining leather-clad men.
I was thinking about the story I'm going to tell later.
Let's get round to that.
Welcome to another episode of Jock'a'naughty with your genial host, Burns. Tonight's wee story is an extract from Cancelled Job by Elaine Bell, and this comes from the book Rule 34, Weird and Wonderful Fetish Erotica. So here we go, an extract for Cancelled Job. Of all the people to catch her, it has to be the woman who fills most of her masturbatory fantasies that don't include photocopiers. The same executive who's sometimes the co-star of the wet dreams that involve both Julia and the machines that make Ruby moan. Ruby doesn't miss that Julia's gorgeous brown pupils dilate as her eyes lock on Ruby's breasts. The nipples that were relaxing from their recent turgid state harden and ache at the look of hunger that passes over the CFO's countenance. Julia breaks the spell. So you're the one who's been wasting our resources. Her nose twitches and her irises somehow expand further. Ruby inhales again, hoping the distraction her breasts are causing might be enough to give her time to think of an answer, and she smells what Julia must have noticed. The air in the compact room is redolent with the musk of sex. While the room is small, it's still expansive for a supply closet. It has to be to fit the ancient and massive collating photocopier that's mindlessly continuing its 1,000 copy job. It's the only machine in the office that does a full sort, collate and staple on thick documents and large jobs. Ruby's lust for the device is beyond her control. Something about its size makes it an outcast among the other, newer machines the company owns. While the more modern models can arouse her with their sleek lines and smooth operation, they don't have the same appeal as this one. The solid construction and sharp edges. The stamina to ejaculate pages for hours on end. Well, there you go.
I never thought of a photocopy ejaculating pages, but I like it.
I'm really into that, isn't she?
It's a good book.
It's certainly something.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's not quite going to be the same when I go back to the office on Monday. Do you know what I mean? Just doing a bit of photocopying, being like, hey, you're right there, Burns. Well, they won't call me Burns, but you know.
I think we should probably wrap up with a trip to the Encyclopedia of Unusual Sex Practices.
Oh, let's.
One's a B.
B?
And B, because we did A last time.
I know we did.
And B, would you believe it or not, it's for bee stings.
Bee stings.
Bee stings. No.
Hang on, how are we
Is
saying
that a
this?
term for small boobs?
Yeah, is it bee stings or bee stings?
No, bee stings. There's a
Oh.
picture of a bee on a man's penis.
Oh, right.
Oh no.
Yes. Use
No.
of insects, entomophilia.
Oh, entomophilia. Oh no.
No,
Or
no.
Or formicophilia. Arousal for man.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Right, we'll skip that one.
No,
So,
actually, no, going on that, I once did hear a very interesting thing, which was someone said if you ever want the ultimate thrill as a man, get yourself hard in the bath. Make sure that just the head of your penis is sticking above the water. Then get a fly and pull its wings off and plonk it on the head of your erect penis. And because it can't fly and it won't go in the water, it will just run round and round and round. And apparently the pitter-patter of its tiny little legs will bring you to ejaculation.
I don't think I can maintain an erection whilst catching a fly and pulling its wings off.
It's not the thought of a blue
It's a
bottle
very,
going around
very
the penis.
specific kink.
I think it's
It
one
is,
that you have to maybe build up to. I think maybe if you had, I think a day, You know.
I thought you were going to say like a smaller flying
Start
animal.
off with a money spider.
Just lying in the bath for a whole day.
I don't know what year this book was published, but it lists bisexualism, and it's in a book. It's not weird.
It's not unusual.
To be fair, given
Not unusual.
Usual to be bisexual.
We're going roughly the same.
Right,
direction,
but-
Other songs are available by
Tom Jones.
given
what else have we got under B?
Bloodsports.
Bloodsports.
Is
This
very-
isn't while your good lady is having a visit
is
to the
that
arse
yeah?
blow.
Is that when someone pisses blood on you?
No, it's
No.
when Aunt Irma comes to visit.
No, it's not. It's not when Aunt Emma comes to visit.
Oh,
Is it
it
literally
not?
just getting blood
It's-
straight out of the vein?
It's Bloodsports. Bloodsports are those sex activities which involve skin being broken and include activities such as cutting, piercing, carpet burns, abrasion, shaving, scratching, vampirism, flagellation, caning, branding, burning, etc. Cutting the skin or drawing blood creates an adrenaline rush.
And a partridge in a pear tree. And I see, I've seen Bloodsports more as a sort of
A film with Jean-Claude Van Damme.
no, more of the menstrual.
Oh no,
They're all interested in the weak.
the week.
Well, children, I don't trust anything
A
that
week
bleeds for a
spelled
week
with
and doesn't
W-E.
die.
Don't get me wrong. Speaking as a woman,
Speaking as a mother,
speaking, I'm not a mother, but speaking as a woman, you for some reason, because God likes to do that to you, you are more turned on in that week. You're more horny, and for some reason, it just decides, let's just do something that makes it incredibly messy if you want to go anywhere near it. But it does something to you. Which
it's kind of like a defense. It's like a sort of body.
Yet
defense
another
tactic.
argument against intelligent design.
yes.
Yeah,
But it is frustrating because if I do anything now, I'm going to get it everywhere, aren't I? So the only option even then is the shower, and that's risky. So just for slipping over and breaking a collarbone or something, But yeah, so I can totally see why it would be a kink, but it's not a tidy one.
And Bloodsports, in the way it's written in here in terms of lacerations, do anything for you?
nah.
No.
I probably would get a kink doing it to someone else.
Mm.
I've got that sort of. I think it's like a Roman emperor sadist streak, like a real Augustan sadist streak. In the fact that I would, when you look at those old Roman films and they're like, oh yes, crucify these 500 people.
Yeah.
I'd happily be the guy hammering in the nails and crucify people.
Right.
I would find no problem in that. I'd probably get a sexual thrill from it. I causing extreme pain. It's why I do a lot of things like airsoft and paintball and stuff like that. I do get a kick from shooting the shit out of people. It really gets my blood pumping and gets my heart going. I really fucking like it. And it's kind of a very...
Doesn't do any of this to me, can I just clarify?
Yeah, it's a very primal animalistic instinct, but I have limitations. I know where people's limits are, and I'm happy to respect that. But I don't know, maybe it's because I'm from the north, maybe because I'm slightly Nordic. I've got this idea of...
You're a Viking, that's it.
Yeah, swinging a battle axe into someone's skull and cleaving it in two just is a brilliant idea.
I'm now rather worried, ladies and gentlemen.
My Amazon recently browsed has
If it's an axe and a longbow, I'm totally in.
a scalpel blade kit and a piercing kit in it because I've been considering it with a long-term play partner who is into that sort of thing, and with a background, in tattoo studios or sterile environments.
Yeah. If it's practiced safely, it's actually very...
I've spent a lot of time around piercers.
Yeah.
So, although I'm not sure if I'm into it, but on paper I'd be a good candidate, apparently.
Yeah. No, that's the thing. I mean, it's one of those things. I mean, there are obviously cases in talking of blood sports and stuff. There are people who have gone to the full extremes. Armin Muse, for example, the guy who searched for an online partner to cut off someone's penis and eat it, and very much a blood sporty sort of thing, and then kill him and then eat him in pieces, which I suppose because it's cannibalism, but it was for a kink, really, wasn't it? It was that's in C. I think we'll look at that in C.
Jesus Christ, let's wrap that up.
Well, yeah, Jesus,
let's put
Because
that
that
there.
got dark quick.
Yeah. So, thank you for joining us for episode 3 of Varying Degrees. We have been Cool Hands, Burns, ShockHead and Red. I hope you can join us next time. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Toodles!
Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da.